What is up, everybody? Happy Thursday. It's 7:51, so we got about 9 minutes here to finish up. I just landed my fourth species of the morning. I started out with a smallmouth. Oh, I just got bit right there, I think. Started out with a smallmouth, then had a couple perch, then had a big pickerel. Caught a bunch more perch, and then just caught a big sunfish. And I'm deep in the West End. I'm between Muskrat Bay and Oneida Shores. I'm right on the southern weed line. I'm drifting into it. A little bit of a northwest wind this morning, and lo and behold, I'll tell you, if we have another night like we did, and they're saying possible frost in central New York tonight, I'm sure that's only going to be at the higher elevations, south of the city probably. I got a big one. But it looks like today, if everything goes the same, will be the last day the water will be in the 60s this year. It is 60.1 this morning. So another degree and a half yesterday, from yesterday morning to today. So it's these cool nights and this rain are really, really pushing this temp down. I see a lot of perch in the West End. Oh my. I've seen 3 distinctly different schools. So if you're a perch guy, I mean, they're biting on walleye tackle, so you know that those perch are all fired up. I just picked up the shiver minnow before oh, there's something. It's a monster. It's a monster. I can barely get my finger in his mouth. So everything first, my first series of bites in my first drift, things got a little hairy. Pun intended. I went back to the black and purple jig. This is a Rick from Apps Tie with a jig and leech on the back of it. I've had multiple people tell me, which I didn't realize actually, that Apps is closed until first ice. I said something the other day about you can go get your shiver minnows there, which is unfortunate because the best fishing of the year is now. But I guess he's out of town or he does something else. Rick does. So there are other places you can get them for sure, but I guess you cannot get them from Apps right now. Sorry, I tried. So yeah, this hair jig did the damage right off the bat. The nice big smallmouth jumped 3-4 times. Always exciting, and a pretty good sized pickerel too. So I'll show you guys something real quick. So that's what the screens looked like multiple times this morning. Those are perch up high, and that's perch pinned to the bottom too. You can see 60.1. I've been throwing the swim bait too. I threw it this morning longer than I have so far any other day. I mean, 20 minutes, half an hour. And not a take. Not a take. I cycled through about 5 different colors too. But any day for me, all of a sudden, it's going to be one right after another. And then for me, the rest of the season really is swim bait season. once I can get them to go on those swim baits, and I fish the JT Rods Panhandler 7-foot ultralight. That is my swim bait rod, which I absolutely adore. The action, the fun, the light feel, that big sweeping hook set with that ultralight rod, I absolutely adore it. I know it was designed by the pros at JT Rods out in Minnesota for panfish, and you ask somebody like Terry Wicks. Terry spends all year really chasing perch, and that's his wand of choice. I mean, they're so light, they're so wonderful, and I've caught big fish on them. I've caught brown trout up in the lake casting swim baits up to about 6 pounds, 7 pounds. I've caught bass up to the high fives. I've caught big walleyes. So just because it's an ultralight doesn't mean it's soft or weak. It just means that action is amazing. And I'll really curtail my jigging activities once that swim bait bite really gets going for me. There comes a point where they really key on horizontal bait presentations, and they're looking to gorge themselves. The shad will start showing up in force. You'll start seeing your schools of emerald shiners, of buckeyes starting to show up, and they're chasing them big time. Nice light breeze this morning, hardly anything. It's out of the northwest, 0 to 5. Pretty foggy out here. Kind of a dull sky, which is why I'm using, real dark colors this morning. I did throw a couple chartreuse swim baits around, but to no avail. Watched the Yankee game last night. Good win. Even though I'll tell you, situational hitting. we got 2 men on. Was it the 8th inning or 9th inning? You get 2 men on. Their closer walks 2 guys in a row. So we got men on first and second with only 1 out, and we can't advance the runner and we don't score a run. Now we were already up by 1. And that kid that came in to close for the Yankees last night, he gave up a couple hits, but boy, he was throwing the ball, placing it very well. He really had some smoke on it too. He doesn't look like a very big guy. I don't even know his name. I really don't. I have not kept up with the day-to-day of the team very much throughout the season. I know it's a lot of young faces, but they pitched a pretty good game last night, considering. I think they gave a stat that Kansas City had 8 or 9 pitchers in the game. I tell you, the game of baseball has changed, obviously, so dramatically. It used to be there's one. I don't know what it is, but he throttled it. Another pickerel. Let me see if I can. He throttled that, just like the one did this morning. And look where that jig is. If I can get it out. That jig's right there in the top of the snoot. He throttled it. Whoa! All right, you slimy little sucker. Got it all over me. All right. Well, it's 8:01. That's a last cast that I didn't even have to call. I guess we could do a last cast. We got time. These gloves are going to be stinky. Mama won't let me bring them in the house to dry them off because they're going to smell like pickerel. My poor jig looks like it's been rode hard and put away wet. All right, last cast. Last cast for love. I'm in 15 foot of water. I've been from 16 and a half into 14 and a half. I'm still on the outside of the weed line, so I'm on the north side of the South Shore weed line off of Muskrat Bay. That's just where I am. But that's where I would be looking no matter where I was if I wanted to go fish shallow. All the weeds are still in place, so it'll be another couple weeks before you start to see the weeds really let loose and get out of here. And if you can still find green weeds that haven't turned brown yet, there's fish in them. But I'm on the outside right now. I'm on the outside looking in. Huh. All right, well, another day with no walleyes, but I did have 4 species show up to play. Had a lot of fun. I had to stop and get gas this morning, so I've really only been fishing about 50 minutes, 48, 50 minutes. So I'll take that all day long. That's a good way to start your Thursday. All right, I'm getting out of here. I got to go finish up a deck. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Keep your tip up.